Welcome, beautiful goddesses, with all my heart. This beautiful moment we're going to create together to experience some magic together, and where I will be sharing with you a transmission, messages around healing your feminine and masculine energies, and manifesting miracles by awakening God, Goddess within you. Okay? This is who you are, and this moment is going to be a remembrance back home to your divinity, to who you are, to being a child of God, Goddess, an embodiment of God, Goddess, and how you can harness these divine feminine and divine masculine energies within yourself to create what you desire as you were meant to. And just a love note, my beautiful YouTubers, I'm sharing this with you as well. You'll be watching on the replay, so I want you to also participate, share in the comments. Okay, my loves, but there's a beautiful energy of doing live. That's why I want to do this instead of a pre-recorded video and just uploading that on YouTube. And for my beloved YouTubers, come join me on Instagram. I'm Flourishing Goddess everywhere in all the socials. Okay, so my loves, today I was inspired to share a live on our masculine and our feminine and them just marrying in sacred union, and the magic that explodes in your life like an orgasm. And the way that we create babies, the way that, I mean, that's just one of the ways. There are, trust me, I've been on the fertility journey. I've learned many other paths to parenthood. And, you know, there are so many miraculous ways that we create life. However, there's this energy of the orgasm, of the sacred union of feminine and masculine that is so divine, and it creates miracles, right? And goddesses create life on their own, and there are gods who create life on their own. So it's not about that. It's like not about any kind of dependency energy. This is about us truly embracing the power of the most divinely activated feminine energy within us, the most divinely activated masculine energy within us. And then when they join in sacred union, what flows forth, what we can create, how we manifest, everything changes. Everything changes in your life when you come from this space. So as you know, I do goddess work, right? We do all the goddess things. And what I found that's been most surprising to the women in my world who work with me privately in my Awakened Goddess training, who come with me on my retreats, is when they have this epiphany that there's always a component of healing and embracing with the masculine, of how much they actually needed that as well, and how that was a missing piece for them to receive, to create what they desired. So if we only focus on the feminine, then we get out of balance as well, right? And when we let these energies dance through us, then you activate God, Goddess through you. And then they dance through you. They express themselves through you. This is actually one of the most ancient spiritual, I don't even want to say myths, right? But the origins of that God, Goddess uniting to create magical new life, whether it was in the ancient times of, you know, God as like the sun and Goddess as the earth, and then the divine sun penetrating and the Goddess giving birth, you know, the cycle, the wheel of the year, and Mother Earth giving birth to new life through her seasons in union with the God. And in so many other traditions, earth-based and spiritual and all of them, this is a mirror to us. We're a part of it. We are one with the cycles of nature. And as soulful women, we often focus on coming back to our feminine energy, but it's so important for us to also unite with and balance it out with the masculine, because what we don't realize is sometimes the feminine is out of balance because there's an excess or deficiency of the masculine as well, right? These blocks that we get around our feminine masculine energy, they root back usually in like this lifetime to our childhood. So I'll be talking a little bit about those wounds that we need to clear up, mother wound and father wound. And I'll be sharing, just my personal experience and my observation of helping divine women, heal and manifest with the goddesses from the feminine since 2012. So I've had a lot of experience with this. I will say, I do want to say this, that when I'm talking about feminine, masculine, I don't necessarily mean male and female, right? And also you might identify something that I'm sharing as feminine with more of a masculine energy to you, and you might identify something as masculine as more feminine energy to you. That's all beautiful. I'm sharing in the way that I've experienced and observed it, but it's very flexible as well, right? There's nothing rigid or black and white here. So when we get blocked up, being in our feminine too little, too much, being in our masculine too little, too much, and not having these energies harmonized inside of us, oftentimes this pattern stems back to early childhood, rooting back to our inner girl, especially as soulful women, where we learned, got programmed with things that are just so not true, that not the truth of who we are as feminine beings. And it's not our fault that we learned these, whether it was from how we were raised, our home environment, the media, our culture, our religion, patriarchy, but they get ingrained, right? And then for me, in the work that I do and I've done in myself, in my life, it roots back to karmic and ancestral patterns sometimes, where we are invited to do deep healing around our wounding with our feminine power and how it connects to our masculine as well, right? In fact, wounding from and by the masculine oftentimes. Okay, so what I'll be sharing are, first, to support you in getting clear on what blocks you might identify with, in your feminine energy and your masculine energy, and then the path to healing this, and what it looks and feels like, what life is like when they unite, when we not only heal this energy and come back to our feminine power in oneness with our divine masculine, but when it is dancing through you in perfect harmony and sacred union. Okay, my loves. So first I'll share about our feminine wounding, and oftentimes this roots back to our relationship to our mother. Our mother we were in her womb. We're connected to her in her womb. We're connected to her relationship to her mother. We're connected to our grandmothers and the whole feminine line. So as daughters of our mothers in her womb, we're already receiving the imprints of the whole maternal line, as well as how our mother felt when she was pregnant, what her life was like, and then our life experience with her. Our relationship with our mother is so significant as the foundational relationship in how we are in our feminine, how we relate to the feminine. And the mother wound in itself can be so painful that in itself deserves devoted healing. Okay? Then there can be the sister wound or the girlfriend wound. And sometimes with our mothers, it's even like how our mothers were treated. And then as women, it can again be our religion, what we were taught about ourselves and women. So many different kinds of messages, like one little thing for me was, you know, if a girl's on her period, you can't go to the mosque. And this is in other cultures as well. I remember in Thailand, you couldn't enter the temple if you were pregnant or on your period when a woman is at the height of her power, her Shakti. And so it's like you're dirty, you're impure, you're less than, you know, there's so many different messages that we get around our feminine not being valued or worthy or equal. Religion, patriarchy, all that. So sometimes the way that these imbalances show up, I'm going to just share some examples with you. And I would love for you to share in the comments, beloveds, which one of these imbalances or blocks, or this is like when we're in shadow with the feminine, is showing up for you or has been a pattern for you that you are ready to release. So share that with me in the comments. And as I'm sharing them, you might even want to close your eyes and just feel how it feels in your body as I share some of the specific blocks that have been the most common in my work with women over all these years and in my own life. Okay? One of the greatest blocks we experience when we are in disconnect in some way with our feminine power and energy is a block to receptivity. Okay, so block to receptivity, it's like we feel we have to earn, we have to work hard, we have to strive, we have to prove, we have to be productive. A block to receiving. So we might be really good at visualizing what we desire and doing the mantras and the affirmations and doing all the right things spiritually, practically. And we're wondering, why is this not working for me? Okay, so a block to receiving. Another block that can happen for us when we are out of balance with our feminine power, our feminine energy, or Shakti, is this pattern of struggle. Like we have to suffer to be rewarded. You know, we only get good things after we suffer, or that we have to sacrifice. And this is like this very old, I grew up, you know, with a lot of Indian movies, and there was this whole archetype of like the mother who sacrifices, right? She was the one who was revered. Your mother sacrifices everything. And women, wives who sacrifice everything for their husbands, like she is the most devoted. They were the ones put on the pedestals. Okay, so sacrifice is another one. Yeah, I'm seeing these blocks you're sharing, my loves. Another block we can experience is burnout and fatigue, because we're not operating from our feminine. We might be in hypermasculine mode. So let me know if that's one that you relate to. Overwhelm, just taking care of too many things, project managing everyone, you know, your mom, like the kids and the groceries and what's for dinner, and you've got all the lists and there's work, and especially in these times when a lot of us have been working from home, there's been so much to manage. And overwhelm can be a big pattern for us sometimes. Another way we may know that we're not in our feminine is we're just in our head all the time. Okay, so being in your head, not in your body, being disconnected from your body, your heart, the present moment, not feeling grounded. So this is where a lot of the energy is. Another way it shows up is, seeing the comments, receptivity block, relate to the burnout, being in the mind and not in my body, burnout, fatigue, relate to all three so far, exhaustion, burnout. I know, my loves, and you know, this makes my heart so sad, and also like, this is why I do what I do. Because it's like, I'm like, not on my watch. My women, the women in my world, we are not settling for this shit. We're not born for this. Okay, I will keep going. But honoring you. you know, and honoring that it's like, it's not your fault. Like I shared, there's so many things in this world that lead to us living in this way. Of course, being feminine beings, it can be also like mood fluctuations and hormonal imbalances. So this was a big one for me. Of course, it had a lot to do with my early childhood trauma in every way that I experienced, especially sexual. So I had terrible periods in my teens. It was like I would be bedridden, bleed so heavily, 8 days of heavy bleeding to the point where I became anemic, and I would, I'm not saying that was connected, but I'm sure it had something to do with it. I would faint sometimes, and I would need like really strong Advil in my teens until I like, love it, not on my watch, thank you. Yes, that's what I do. I got you, my ladies, my goddesses. But my loves, I'm just sharing like from my personal experience, the moods, the hormonal imbalances. It wasn't until I embraced, in my Awakened Goddess training, we have different initiations, and there's one that is like a devotion to this, our moon cycles and our moon magic and our cyclical nature, and embracing that. And that in itself like was the thing that changed my life. It took me, it started in my teens, and I was like in my mid-ish 20s when I embraced it. So it took me like 13, 14 years to awaken to the feminine wisdom of my body and to heal the blocks. And my period became the most magical time of the month for me. And the moods and hormones and everything, like, not only balanced, but became my superpower, my monthly magic time. I started calling PMS. It turned into powerful, magical sorceress. Okay, this is what happens when we return to the goddess and we remember the women's ways, women's wisdom, womb wisdom, goddess magic, our cycles. Okay, so a lot of you can relate to that. Yes, overthinking and overwhelm. I know, my love. Another one is, who can relate to this? Overgiving in our relationships and imbalanced relationships. You know, where we're the friend who's always listening to the friend on the call and not being asked how you're doing, or if it is, it's like, it's not really, the balance isn't there. Or overgiving in romantic ones. Oh, you know, that's such a big pattern. In my program, we go much deeper into the archetypes, the shadow archetypes that show up for us specifically as soulful women in our relationships. But overgiving is such a big one. And we might even mother people and rescue people, especially because a lot of us are natural priestesses and natural healers and natural givers and natural nurturers and very compassionate. And it's hard for us to see people struggle, suffer, especially when, like, you know, you see in them what their potential is, what's possible for them. You want them to thrive, right? And then we're no longer partners. We're no longer, we have to take responsibility as well. And then sometimes it comes from like a place of unconscious need to be needed. And we get into martyr mode. Yeah. Everyone's saying, oh God, yes, I can. Imbalanced giving. Right. And like, there's not the reciprocity. And then what happens? We get resentful. We feel it's not fair. We can get a little bitter. Right. Meanwhile, we've also have to take responsibility in co-creating this dynamic that doesn't serve us or the other party. Right. Imbalanced relationships don't serve anyone. A lot of goddesses relating to that. Okay, so another one that comes up a lot for us is we are disconnected from our sensuality. And something that even precedes that is insecurities around our body image. Right? I mean, just look at the pressures we have in the world and how we might be so self-critical. And so our relationship to our body, where we don't see it as the divine temple of the goddess and the vortex of pleasure and sensuality and joy that it is, and instead we're disconnected from all its beauty and its light and its radiance and its shakti and its vitality. And we get that burnout, and then on top of that, we're critical of ourselves, we nitpick on little spots, instead of seeing ourselves the way the goddess sees us. Right? All this resonates. So yeah, disconnect from our sensuality, our sexuality, how that shows up in our ability to be intimate in relationships, whether we are manifesting a beloved or we are partnered already and coupled, and it's just like we don't have that divine, sensual, sexual, intimate, beautiful relationship. And I also relate to this because of sexual trauma. I had like phobia level fear of not only men, but the sexual regions of men. I won't say the name because I'm putting on a YouTube, and you have to be mindful with the words you use, but again, it took me like 20 something years to heal and to be able to open to, first of all, my own sexual sovereignty, to reclaim that, to heal the guilt and the shame and the trauma from religion, from abuse around my body, my sensuality, my sexuality, right? This has happened to the goddesses, Mary Magdalene, Lilith, right? Reputations tarnished for being divine priestesses and goddesses of sacred union and sexuality, amongst so many other divine feminine powers. So we as women also have these codes of how the goddesses and these divine feminine archetypes and have been demonized and, just defamed, tarnished. We carry those codes and that guilt and shame and fear sometimes on top of our own personal experience with our bodies and our own sexuality. Okay, so that's a huge, huge, huge one. Our womb center and our connection to our body, our sexuality, our sensuality, and how that just spills into everything. Not only our romantic relationships, but again, first and foremost, your relationship to your body, your sexuality, your sensuality. And you deserve to heal that for yourself. Thank you, beloved. Okay, another block that can show up for us is we don't feel present and grounded, right? Because we're not connected to sensuality, because sensuality is also like, you should see me eat. Eric and I have this joke where sometimes I love asking random questions. It's just my thing. So sometimes one of my favorite questions has been, if we met for the first time and we went on a kind of blind date situation, because he knows astrology as well, right? I'm like, what sign would you guess I am if you didn't know my sign? We went on a date. He's like, he doesn't even let me finish the question. He's like, Taurus. And by the way, I'm a Taurus all over my chart. I think I'm the most Taurus person in the world, maybe. Everything of mine is in Taurus. So anyway, he says Taurus, and I say, why? He goes, because we'd be at the restaurant, and first of all, you'd be all sensual and everything, all the details, the perfume and the sights and smells of you would be radiating, and then you would notice them. You would notice the textures and the smell of the place and the beauty of the ambiance, you would notice it. And then when the food comes, he goes, that's it. When the food comes, you would care about its presentation and like enjoy it and relish its visual, and then you would smell it, and then you like to use your hands, and then you take your time eating it, and it's like a full body sensual experience. Okay, I love that about your mega Taurus energy. Yeah, so this was so healing for me, and I was not able to express this and be in this for a long time in my life. And then when I finally opened up, like, I'm so grateful to have all that Taurus energy. And you don't need to be a Taurus to awaken this. I mean, I empower women to, we all have this within us as women. Okay, but that sensual experience makes you present. When you take a rose and you just smell it, sometimes I'll even take a petal and eat it. It's just like, And that you're not in your head. There's no way you can be in your head. You come into your body, you come into the present. I love you, Shireen. Love positivism in the house, my soul sister, who, by the way, wrote an amazing book that you have to check out. Love positivism. Get her book, beloveds. Okay. So, when we're disconnected from our sensuality, our pleasure, it keeps us all up here and disconnected from the heart and the body and the beautiful earth, Mama Earth, and our earth life here. Another thing that can show up for us a lot is we neglect our feminine gifts. And there's such a range of feminine gifts, right? Like if you just look at the third eye, intuition and magic and manifesting and connecting with the divine, and our just gifts of sensuality and creation and magnetism. So there are so many divine feminine gifts. We go much deeper into my Awakened Goddess training that we might feel disconnected from, and there's such a range. Like, this also includes your warrior goddess gifts, your gift of discernment, your gift of being in Lakshmi and Aphrodite mode, right? Your gift of abundance, your gift of co-creation, the archetypal energies of being like a priestess and a loveress and a witch and a sorceress and a warrioress and a queen, and all the faces and phases of the goddess. That's why hopefully you can see Goddess Isis here. Hello, Isis. She is goddess of 10,000 names, which means this is every woman. We are infinite goddesses of 10,000 names. Infinite gifts, infinite ways to be in our feminine power. It's so beautiful when we come back to that. And so when we are blocked in this, we are disconnected. We don't even know the full range of our feminine gifts. That's why my program, like one of the main intentions is, through the Awakened Goddess training, you become a full spectrum goddess. Full. Because some of this is also like the goddess embraces dark and light. So there's the goddesses of the underworld that we need to partner with, that are allies to heal the root cause of all these blocks, to go into the inner child, to go into the mother and father lines and past lives and the shadow and the wounding and the grief and all of that, right? So the full goddess nature that you are. We can just not even know all of our magic. I want that. I love that. I haven't even realized I have feminine gifts until I started following you. Oh, I'm so happy. Yes. That's why I do what I do. Awaken my fellow sisters to our power. Okay. Another one is that we can feel unsupported. Now, this is like the balance of, if we're over giving, and on the other side, we're not feeling as supported. And this can be very deep. We might not even feel supported by God or the universe. Like, we're praying and we're manifesting, and we're a good person, we're giving to charity, we're doing all these things, and like, why is my prayer not being answered? You know, we might actually feel neglected and rejected and abandoned by God, by the universe. So this can be very spiritual, and it can be very personal in our relationships, at work, in your family, right? Like you do all the stuff in the house and your partner doesn't step up, or your kids don't do their part, or at work you're the one who's taking like the heavier load. So that's another one. Let me know if you relate to feeling unsupported. And another one is a huge block. For me and my clients, it's mainly showed up with the feminine, but it does have a connection to the masculine as well. Blocks around abundance. Abundance with money, with success, with opportunities, with manifestation. So let me know if you feel a block around receiving, creating, being in Lakshmi, in that state of overflowing abundance. Another one for us is we lack self-love. This is a huge one. And again, this can show up in how we may not love our bodies, is just one of them, right? But it's like so much about how we show up in our relationships, how we talk to ourselves, how we may not treat ourselves or prioritize ourselves as the goddesses that we are. Okay, another one that shows up is we don't trust our intuition. We are wanting or desiring to manifest, and we're maybe listening to the people who shared like what we should do to manifest, or to achieve something, to receive something. Achieve is masculine, receive is feminine. But we're not listening to our intuition. And then the other side of this can be we're doing the things. We're doing all the things, and that's hyper masculine mode. Okay, so someone's asking if there will be replay. Yes. Well, I'll save this on the Instagram, and I will put this on YouTube as well. Self-love, lack of self-love is a big issue. Yes, my love, I know. Self-love, honestly, I feel like every empathic woman, self-love is one of our deepest wounds, but it's one of our greatest initiations. That's why my work, my book, Goddess Reclaim 13 Initiations, and definitely my training where we go much, 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 much deeper. It's a journey of initiation, and self-love, I feel, is the thing that most humans, I mean, can you imagine a world where everyone truly loved themselves, like divinely loved themselves? I feel like we would have heaven on earth. So self-love, but it shows up in a specific way for empathic, sensitive, soulful women like us. You know, so this is a huge one. Of course, I lacked it for the longest time, and then it, you know, it wasn't overnight. It was a journey to cultivate it deeper and deeper and deeper, and it continues to be where now it's just like more and more and more. You know, you just deepen and embody it more and more and more. Okay. Yeah, not trusting the intuition. And like, this is part of the feminine gifts. You are so magical. I mean, Isis, the Hecate, Goddess Bridget, there's all these goddesses that are in you. The infinite wisdom of the universe. Like, as a woman, your intuition is one with the cycles of the cosmos and the stars and the moon and the earth and your body. We have different kinds of intuitions as women. We're so blessed. We have womb intuition. We have heart intuition. You know, men can have this too, but like with us women, we're so blessed to have really specific kind of intuitive gifts. That are just, once we unleash them, once we reclaim them, once we embrace them, release magic in every part of your life. And another block that can show up for us when we are not in balance is creative and fertility issues in what we want to create and birth in the world. So that can be a big one. Let me know if that's something for you, like a feeling of stagnation around creativity and fertility and birthing and creating. So on the one hand, there's like the overdoing, and then on the other hand, it's like not creating, not birthing. And again, this can root back to wounds where like we might procrastinate, we might be indecisive, we might let fear hold us back. I'll get more into that in the masculine, because this is all like balanced out. Another one I see a lot with my single goddesses is settling for less than what you deserve, or even coupled ones. Like just being with someone because of pressure or desperation and settling. Or for single goddess, it's attracting elusive, unavailable partners a lot. And in my work, like all these years, including in like my beautiful Awakened Goddess training, you'll see if you go to the page, the Awakened Goddess training page, like testimonials, the most recent one of Goddess Leanne, who released the pattern of attracting unavailable men. And finally, magnetize a divine beloved who treats her like a queen goddess, who shows up for her in every way. Right? But this can be a huge block for us. Another one is just like overall settling for less than we deserve. I'm just noticing your comments. Yes, about the stagnation and creativity, lack of belief and worthiness about that. Yep. I understand that, my love. Settling, attracting narcissist. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I go much deeper with this in my training, where I share like the specific shadow archetypes in relationship dynamics for highly sensitive women. But attracting narcissists, they're like attracted to us as like magnets, unfortunately, when we have our own healing to do to come into our full power. Because a woman, when you return to and reclaim your sovereignty, there's your field, your sphere cannot in any way call in a narcissist. It's just not possible. It's not possible. You're not available to it in any way. Your energy and your angels will not allow it, because you've claimed your powerfully, your standards. So this is like when we're out of balance, we haven't cultivated the worthiness to hold those standards for ourselves amongst so much other deeper work, but we settle. Yeah, I relate to this so much. I have a block in attracting unavailable men, which unfortunately drags to my current partnership, where I subconsciously sabotage it through my negative experience. I'm so sorry, my love, and I understand it. You're not alone. But you deserve to and can be free of it. You're reclaiming your power, your divine feminine power. Another block that can show up for us is just a lack of gratitude for the blessings we have, or just a focus on lack. This can especially happen sometimes with good intentions. We want to focus on what we're desiring, what we're manifesting, and sometimes we can get so fixated on that, what's not here, what we want to call in, that we're not fully present to the infinite abundant blessings that we always have. Okay. Oh, and also connected to settling is compromise. Like we compromise in our relationships. Okay. And the final one I'll quickly share here, because I want to get to the masculine ones as well, to we can all get this out. Like we are in this energy right now in the present live. We are in the super waning, completing moon energy. So it's a beautiful time to get this out, write it. You know, we're coming into this, we're in this like Gemini energy. And it's really good to write things out, because also like when we're writing it, you're acknowledging it and you have power. You're taking back your power and saying, I see this. I see this. I'm ready to release it. So if you even want to write not only the block, but I'm ready to release this fully and completely. Okay, so the final one is feeling guilt and shame. And I just feel like, oh, we can feel guilty about so many things. I have women saying, you know, I feel guilty about taking a nap, or getting a babysitter, or spending money on a manicure, or, you know, not doing, if I've done everything, like if I have a free day, I start doing laundry or something to feel productive, and just guilt in our bodies, guilt in sexuality, guilt in receiving, guilt and shame with money, pleasure, with receptivity, right? Yes, I love it. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right, my love. So I hope that was helpful in just clarifying where, as women, we need to acknowledge we may be out of balance with our feminine. Get it out, and let's give it to the divine for healing and clearing, because this is not who you are. All right, and we're going to get into the masculine now. And then, of course, we're going to get into what it's like to have these healthy, united, activated, right? We're going on a journey here. Okay, now let's get into the masculine. So, of course, the masculine wounding can start like the mothers did with our feminine did with our mothers and mother line. The masculine wounding, our first experience, it's the most significant experience of the masculine usually is with the father. And this can include a missing or absent father. Missing. Thank you, sister. Oh my God, very helpful. I'm so happy to hear that. Yay. With our fathers, my love, and then also if you're raised in a religious home like I was, with God. Many of the women that come in my world, we do a lot of like unlearning of what kind of God we grew up with. I grew up with a God that was very contradictory, because he was most merciful and beneficent and compassionate, but then also like wrathful and will throw you in hell for like anything. All the things I talked about, pleasure and sexuality and sensuality and dancing, and you know, so it's like, which one is it? And the God that I grew up with was, even though like in Islam, God doesn't have a gender, and it's very masculine, patriarchal, the way that I was raised. Okay, not everyone has that experience growing up Muslim, but that's how I was raised. So it's just experience with the masculine and patriarchy and all these other levels and layers. Oh, they're saying, I'm so happy I don't feel alone anymore. See, it's so beautiful when women gather and we can share. And you see so many of us going through the same things. And like, I've gone through all these things myself. So just even with me, you know, you're not alone. Okay, so with the masculine, what can show up for us when we're out of balance with it, when we need some healing with it, is just on the deepest level, feeling unsafe, right? So with the feminine, a lot of the blocks are like more womb, heart, this energy, of course, in other ones as well. But with masculine, it's like root chakra and solar plexus type energy. So on a root level, sometimes if we had this, like any kind of pain, neglect, abuse, with the masculine, or like you're taught, you know, if you sin, God will punish you, and all these beliefs, and we don't feel safe. We're always on guard, we're hypervigilance. So basic sense of just not feeling safe. And honestly, like a foundation for us to thrive. Like, my world is Flourishing Goddess. I don't want us to survive. I was a survivor. I survived my whole childhood filled with every form of abuse. I got therapy for that in high school. I was very blessed that my high school had therapists, that like a social worker and a psychologist that I counseled with. And I don't do therapy, by the way, in all my work. It's not therapy. It's not like trauma support. So that's not what I offer. What I offer is what I needed later in my life. Like this was teenagehood, right? So safety is like the foundation. So I was dysfunctional because I was living full PTSD, right? So again, I don't help with that. That's not my training or qualification. I'm very responsible with how I serve my love. But this is about flourishing. This is about flourishing. So we don't want to just survive. We want to thrive and flourish and prosper in every part of our life. I'm so curious here with the masculine side. Oh, we're getting into it, especially I just recently realized that my insecurities and my intimate relationship root in my father line. My love, you're so not alone. I see this all the time, and this is the work that I do with my clients very, very, very deeply. This is what I mean, that sometimes they're thinking, oh, I want to be more in my feminine, more self-love, so I can, like heal my relationship with men. And then the big epiphany is, okay, yes, that's so important, but this healing with the masculine, my father line, which by the way, we do in the Awakened Goddess training, both father and mother line, ancestors, past lives, inner child, all of it is covered. But it's so important. So thank you for bringing that. Okay, so the next block that shows up a lot is just not feeling good enough. Like, how do we feel good enough especially if we're brought up in religious homes, or we have criticism, or sometimes like really well-meaning dads who are like, achieve. So I wanted you to brace yourself a moment for this story in case it brings up something for you, my love. But my dad was abusive, but he also, nothing is black and white. He was also very loving and affectionate, right? However, there was this one time where he just went into abuse mode with something that used to be very positive. So he used to always reward us for getting good grades. One good thing about him is he never treated us with girls intellectually or academically as inferior or different. He always expected us to excel. We always get like pocket money or extra reward money for having good grades. But you also couldn't get bad grades. If you got bad grades, you were punished. It's very much how it's with religion. You do good things, you're rewarded. You do bad things, you are punished. And so I remember one time I was, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I had my favorite soap. It was like a baby soap, I think Johnson's baby soap, and I just loved its smell. And I didn't get a good grade in something, and my dad made me eat the soap. And he specifically chose my favorite soap as a punishment, so that I would never want to, it was just such a terrible punishment. I remember like barfing and crying. And that was just one of many, many, many experiences outside of him like beating and hitting us, right? So the fear that I had of the masculine growing up, it affected my relationship to authority. And for the longest time, a sense of like not feeling safe and not feeling good enough. No matter what I do, it's not enough, it's not good enough. And sometimes when we have fear, like we talked earlier with the feminine about procrastinating, there's actually a deeper fear, not of failure, but of being punished for doing it wrong. That is so my dad, only rewarding the best. Yeah. All right, so I hope that you wouldn't have such a, abusive past with your father or father figure or the masculine or even your mother. But these kind of experiences, and the interesting thing in my work with my clients is many of them don't have that, but they still have that fear. So some, like I was going to say, your dad may have been very achievement focused, and so this is like the Athena archetype with Zeus. We want to in order to have our dad's love, we have to, please him by being the best, performing, and achieving. So how you perform and what you achieve it's not just rewarded, but on a deeper level, that's what makes you feel worthy of love from the father, from the masculine. Thank you for all the hearts. I'm glad this is resonating. Okay. So it's not just like punishment. Sometimes it's like what's withheld. If love is withheld, or if love is only offered, praise, acknowledgement. We all need that, especially as kids growing up, right? Is only offered when you've achieved or performed a certain way then the pattern is I have to earn love. I have to do, especially with the masculine. And so then this comes, another block that comes up a lot is around our self-worth and our confidence. My sisters and I got punished for having fun. So all my life I hold myself back from enjoying anything in life. See, my love? And you know what? Now you're a free woman. You can make the choice right now. I'm free. I'm an adult. I'm free. And I free myself. And I give myself permission to have fun and to enjoy every fucking part of my life. Okay? All right, so lack of self-worth and confidence is a big one here. And then undervaluing ourselves. This can be a wound we experience. And like I said, you might experience this in a more like feminine energy way, but this is just what I've observed and experienced myself. So when we undervalue ourselves, it can show up in so many ways. Like, for example, if you're an entrepreneur or goddesspreneur, if you undervalue yourself, then you will overgive and undercharge for your service. And I had that early in my practice. When I opened my practice in 2012, I would just start discounting. And then if it was supposed to be an hour session, it would go like 2.5 hours. And those clients were the least appreciative and didn't show up for themselves because I discounted myself. You know, like how am I helping them with love, self-love and worth when I'm not demonstrating that? And then that was such a beautiful initiation for me. When it came to my power, my sovereignty, my divine worth and value with God, Goddess within, every time I raise my fees, it's a reflection of my own divine up-leveling into the next layer of my sovereignty. And I attract more divine, high-value women who know that they're investing in themselves and the transformation and the miracles and the blessings and manifestation they seek. And they're so appreciative and they're fully invested. And so they show up fully. And we have so much fun together. So one thing I see a lot with fempreneurs is we will undercharge and overgive because we undervalue ourselves. And we make it about us rather than you're providing, what is the value you're providing to your client or the person or however it is, right? They're not paying you. They're paying for the value they receive, for the result they get. And what is that result worth to them? Like my Awakening Goddess training is priced as an investment because I want women to be invested and to show up fully. And what they get is priceless, right? Like I can't put a price if I had a program like this that in 6 months could do for me what it took me like 27 years of my life. There's no price I could put on that. You can't put a price on finally manifesting a healthy relationship or elevating the relationship you have, you know, or prospering with your purpose and all the things that women experience in the program, all the magic. So I am invested. I expect my clients to be invested and for us to have a high level sacred exchange and the most epic experience together. And this comes as we build our personal sovereignty and stop undervaluing ourselves. Yes, we no longer undervaluing. Yep. Just going to read this. A couple of other comments. I don't know. It said high expectations on me, but the only thing I ever received was a criticism. Yeah. And never recognition of my success. Constantly feel I'm not enough for him and even disappointment. And when we feel like I'm so sorry, my love, first of all, that shows up in our other relationships as well, my love. Okay. So another thing that can show up is we might struggle with structure. All right. So I did have this a little bit in my business where I'd be like, you know, and my YouTubers will know this, where I'm not consistent with when I post in my YouTube because I go with my divine feminine flow. But when I do, so I receive my inspiration, I'm like, oh, like this live, I must create this, I must share this. And then I have to do the masculine, like put it in my calendar, get my home studio set up, get the tech set up, you know, like there's the masculine structure that's needed, and without it, it's like this. The masculine structure and support lets the goddess flow and dance. Right? And I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm getting into the union, what happens when we're in harmony with these. But we might have some struggle with structure and organization. Another thing is not being focused or clear. Okay. So any issues we might have with clarity and focus, or like we're focusing on the wrong things. We're focusing on the things we don't want. We're focusing on worry and doubt instead of focusing on who you are, where you're going, what you desire, the things that give you that divine masculine momentum to keep moving forward. And so your Shakti can propel you as you co-create. Another one that shows up for a sensitive woman a lot is, tell me if you can relate to this, struggling with boundary setting, right? We have trouble saying no, and with the feminine against like the overgiving. So then the masculine balance, and again, maybe for you, this is feminine because there are feminine goddesses. There's warrior goddesses who help us with this, but who has trouble setting boundaries? My love. Hello, my love. I heard dating. My love, I went over the dark side and the shadow of the feminine first. So that was like part 1. And right now we are in part 2. So if you watch the replay, you'll see the feminine. Oh, we went really deep. There was a lot. Okay. So let me know if you have struggle with boundaries. Yeah. Struggling with structure. People are saying boundaries can be a big one for us. Another one is authority issues. This was huge for me. My last corporate pattern, I did have some great bosses in my feels like another lifetime or lifetimes ago, but the last pattern for me was toxic boss, toxic boss, toxic boss, worse and worse and worse. And they were basically all like the culmination of my experience with the dark, distorted, authoritarian, tyrannical masculine, as I first experienced with my father. And it was there for me to break free of that freaking cycle. Okay? So not being in our own authority, and that was one of my big soul lessons, is to reclaim my own divine authority. This is why it's like this very solar plexus energy of being in your power, being in your authority. Being the authority in your life. You are the boss of your life. You are the boss, badass queen of your life. Right? And really standing in that. Struggling with clarity. Boundaries terrify me. Yeah, I'm scared people will be disappointed or hate me if I stand in my worth. And those are not your people. Those are not your people. And I know we get so scared of losing those people, but your people will love you, respect you, and honor you when you demonstrate, when you say no, when you draw a boundary. Their love for you is unconditional. When we unconditionally love and honor ourselves, it's reflected back to us. But I understand the fear of the boundaries, my love. Block with clarity, struggle with authority, because I'm not supposed to question anything but only do as you're told. Yeah, I was raised that way as well. And, you know, it's like, again, the patriarchal programming. Good girls, we're nice. There's a big difference between being nice and being kind. You can set a boundary and be kind. But being nice is like people pleasing and disempowering. You know, and we're like praised for being obedient. Good girls. Fuck that shit. We cut that cord. Yes, I'm the boss of my life. It's so energizing. Good. I'm so happy that supports you. Okay, so then connected to this issue with authority is we may not stand up for ourselves. Okay, we don't stand in our power. We don't speak up. We don't take a stand for our worth, our value, our boundaries. And then another one is we play small. We're afraid of being seen. You're afraid of being seen. And usually there's fear of judgment, and usually again a fear of punishment, and it goes back to that safety issue as well. Yes. Okay. Okay, first thing, I'm too authoritative. So then the balance of the feminine, right? Another one is like, you don't trust yourself, and you don't trust, more importantly, that God has your back or the universe has your back. It's like we don't feel protected or provided for, and we feel like we have to do everything on our own, and we're on our own. So even if we are praying and manifesting, we feel like we're on our own. Okay? So it can affect our trust and our faith. And then the feminine, like our ability to surrender and receive. Masculine, and it doesn't have to be masculine for you. It could be something different, but just what I've experienced and found is we don't have this trust that God has my back, supports me, protects me, provides for me. And then on the other side of that is like the feminine then can't surrender because you don't trust, and then we can't receive. So I'm so afraid of being seen, how to take charge of my own authority. Yes, trust issues. I know, my loves. So then with another one with this is like being indecisive. We can't make decisions. We question ourselves. We doubt ourselves. We can feel really stuck. And so the feminine Shakti, that creative Shakti, is connected to like the masculine, this ability to be decisive, clear, focused, decisive, make a decision, go. You have that confidence, to do that thing, and no matter what happens. But we don't have the faith because we're afraid of punishment or something bad happening, so then we don't take action. So then it connects to this indecisiveness, right? Another thing is just like either being afraid to take action or taking too much action, efforting a lot. Efforting so much that by the time you achieve the thing, you're so exhausted. And then another one with the masculine is like we're just goal focused. So we're not, the feminine is like journey focused, right? Like that sensuality. Every moment matters. Not when I get there. I'm never going to get there, because when you get there, you're going to want something else. You get there, you're going to want something else. This is just our divine, beautiful human dance that we're here to be in. And so like, you can never have a sense of satisfaction and contentment. If you do, it's like a momentary experience or celebration, but then it's the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So there's always this like sense of what's next and striving forward, but not in like that momentous thriving energy, but more like we're not fully appreciating the moment and we're too goal focused. That's taking us away from the enjoyment of the journey. Okay. Yeah, and so like with the too much action, it can also be, being in hustle and grind and focusing so much on productivity, like what do I have to show for my time? And then another, it's just like lacking zest and fun and spontaneity. Thank you for all the hearts, my loves. And life just feeling kind of boring and too much routine, like too much structure, over masculine, too much organization, too much structure, and it becomes monotonous, and just like every day is the same, and there's no spontaneity, adventure, fun. So, okay. I've been reading your book, such amazing inspiration, really appreciate it. I'm so happy to hear that, beloved. Goddess reclaimed. Okay. So, my loves, thank you for sharing all the things that you relate to. We're going to now get into healing this. All right? Because it's so powerful when you heal this. In my Waking Goddess training, like Goddess that's coming to mind, her testimony is on the page, Jade. She healed both her masculine, and with healing her masculine, I remember earlier in the journey, like we were in one of our first initiations, and we do Q&A at the end of our group call. You do the initiation and then you come to our group call for integration and magic and ritual together. And so she said, like, how do I be more receptive? And I'm like, that's coming, it's coming. And so literally, like, within a couple of initiations, then she said on the next group call, I was on my couch watching Netflix and I received $10,000 out of the blue that was given to me from a beloved family masculine male. Oh! Mercury, here we go. Okay, so let's see, that was my what do you call those things on the back, those little pop things, pop sockets. It flew off. That's okay, we're still live, thank God. Okay, so anyways, Jade manifested like $10,000 and later another $8,000 from a male, I think, manager somewhere. Like, it was just, I won't get into details, but $18,000 basically she received by doing nothing. So it was like being in the feminine and then being able to receive. And actually, I think in the program, like at least 3 women manifested about $20,000 unexpected. And it was both by clearing the blocks, healing, and these were not their intentions, it just happened, right? And this is the magic that happens. Okay, and speaking of narcissistic relations, one of our sisters, Kimberly, her story, her miracle story is also there. She healed from narcissistic abuse from her ex and with the masculine, and then in the training she finished her dissertation, got her PhD. We celebrated, call her Dr. Kimberly at the end, and she's in the academic in a very, very masculine world, extremely competitive, and she said her whole council was supporting her so much, telling her like to write a book. I also saw her write the book in our call and I channeled that for her, and that's going to be in the works. But it's like you heal a relationship with, let's say, your narcissistic ex, and suddenly you can achieve such a huge feat and you're celebrated by the masculine and supported. She was in awe of how much support she received, and also all her other relationships up levels. So some of you said, like, afraid of setting boundaries. She did that. She came into her feminine and masculine power and was able to up level every relationship. I admit that the most beautiful things came to me when I was blissfully enjoying the process, but then had a hard time accepting it because it seemed too easy and I didn't work hard for it. That is such a huge thing, because like, it is meant to be so easy and beautiful, but we just need to decondition and deprogram and decode the untruths that tell us it can't be. All right, my loves. So the healing is healing our mother wounds, healing our father wounds, reparenting our inner child, and undoing these deep, inherent, original wounds from this lifetime. Reparenting ourselves through Father God and Mother Goddess is so freeing and liberating and beautiful and empowering. Healing our feminine wounds with sisters and friends, and comparing ourselves to others and other women. Sometimes we feel like, you know, one way it can show up in shadow is when we look at a woman who has what we desire and we like get jealous or envious or critical, you know, and feel like she doesn't deserve it. So healing these wounds, healing our masculine wounds with, again, Father, with God, with patriarchy, with exes, with lovers, brothers, friends, bosses, all these different ways. We need to heal this in our lines, in our mother line, in our father line, so that not only are we free, this is the sacred assignment that I have experienced every woman that comes into my world to work with me, right? To do the deep work, she Like I attract not only magical women, but ancient, powerful souls who you came to heal this in all your lines and to free, and liberate the generations before you and after you. You came here to heal it in your karma, in your past lives. How's that resonating? Like the spiritual assignment you came here to take on. Let me know, beloveds, in the comments. Wow, the inner parenting piece really speaks to me. Love all of this. I'm so glad. And it made all the difference to me, and it does for my clients, beloveds. Yeah, I like that I'm in the legal field. I operate so much in the masculine. I understand. I was in corporate, so I get that. I remember being in my crazy toxic corporate jobs, and this was before I came into my feminine magic and my moon cycle magic, right? And so I still had a really hard period day, and I needed to take that day off. So I got it, even though like it was next to impossible to get a sick day approved. But anyway, I remember being on my cycle and taking a bath. I'm in my bathtub on my period, and it was like in the middle of the week. It was a weekday, and it's like Goddess herself spoke to me and said, this is how you're meant to be. Not to me only, but like it felt that she was saying this is how she is meant to be in the world through us as women. That whenever you desire, not just on a moon cycle. Last week, I'm in the middle, it's like a busier time than normal right now because we're the temple doors are open for the Awakened Goddess training. We're onboarding the most amazing sisters. There's a lot of behind the scenes to welcome them, to get them set up, to prepare, and still taking applications from beautiful aligned women. And I took last Wednesday, I think it was, just completely off. You can probably see my post from earlier in the week, putting on my face mask, and Clarice is so cute. She's like, I want to share this with our list. So, and I think that day we got like 4 more applications, and I did nothing, you know, and payments were coming in of the sisters that have joined, and it was like flowing in the middle of the week. And I remember that moment in the bathtub thinking, God, Goddess, this feels so right, this feels so natural, this feels like this is how it should be, that as women, as cyclical beings, that we can live our life, have our work, have our life, create them so that they revolve around our cycles rather than we have to revolve around other people's agendas and expectations. And I am so grateful that with divine time, through my own devotion to this path, that the Goddess is inviting me back to her, and the work that I share now with you. I healed the menstrual cycle stuff, so I don't need to, but I love to take the day off on my first day. But I can take any freaking day off that I want, that I desire to. I've created my business on my terms. I've created my life on my terms. And this is your power, and this is the feminine masculine. The feminine of the self-love and all this other healing and receptivity, and the masculine of like the boundaries, the structure, the support to be able to do that. I want this for every woman. I want us all to create the most beautiful, free lives. What I needed to hear this. I literally took today afternoon off to rest. Yay, celebrating you. Happens to me all the time. The day off. Work and money comes to me, right? Exactly. You're feeling me. I love it. Okay, so another way we want to heal this is also through our chakras. And my loves, as you know, I love to heal this with the goddesses. with goddesses, with God directly, because you have a direct link to them. You are them. Okay. So now let's get to the fun part of what happens in our life when we are healed and divinely optimized and activated in our feminine and in our masculine, and they dance together. Okay, and I want you to tell me in the comments this time. This is going to be so fun because we did like this clearing and acknowledging before, and now we're getting into the magic. So when we unite these beautiful divine feminine and masculine energies, you are grounded, you feel safe, secure, and supported. So I want you to write which one you're welcoming. I welcome feeling grounded, safe, secure, and supported. Yes, yes, yes. And say yes, 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 because that's that orgasmic divine feminine energy. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Your life reflects the deep sense of inner security you feel. Outwardly, that shows up as success, stability, and abundance. How beautiful. Like, that just feels like a basic right, a foundational way of being. You co-create your desires with ease and alignment, your sacred purpose with dharma, with joy. Yes, yes, yes. I welcome security. Yes, yes, yes. There's so much more we're going to welcome. Okay. Oh, in balance, you magnetize and you receive your desires. You don't chase. You don't chase the men. You don't chase the clients. You don't chase the opportunities, the jobs. You're not chasing. You take divinely inspired action when you're called. It's aligned, but it comes to you. The opportunities, the lover, the client, the home, whatever. The babies, they go out of their way to come to you because you are radiating this magnetic, irresistible radiance. Okay? Like in our Awakened Goddess training, one of our beautiful goddesses, Olivia, an actress, Olivia Macklin, her miracle story is also on the Awakened Goddess training page. We co-manifested. She wanted a Netflix role, and we do rituals in our calls because when women gather, like, the power is super amplified and we just collapse time and make things happen like that. So we did this ritual. We're like, Netflix comes to you. Next call. Netflix came to her, offered her her dream role, and we're going to be celebrating her premiere together. And like, she received so much more than she thought she was going to receive in that opportunity as well. So magic happens. You are creative. There's no creative blocks. You're creating. So are you welcoming creativity? Yes, I love it. I'm open and ready to receive. I love it. I welcome deep connection to my priestess intuition. I love that. Okay, so you're creative. You love your body temple and you are sensual. You see yourself through the eyes of the goddess. You see it, your body as a holy vessel of the divine, portal of pleasure and fertility, creativity, no matter what your age, no matter if we have a womb still or not, like, that doesn't matter. So are you embracing, loving your body temple and your awakening? Are you ready to awaken to sensuality? Tell me if you have your yes, yes, yes. And so of course you have amazing divine orgasms. Like, through this sacred work, you know, me thankfully getting to a place, right, of just being in the embodiment of it, and the fullness and the overflow of it. Eric and I are celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We've been together 13 years this September, and blessedly, even with most of our married life going through the fertility journey, which can take such a toll on a couple on every level, especially intimacy, our union I'm trying to find words that aren't too TMI. But our union, it gets wilder, deeper, more soulful, more crazy, more fun, more tender, more epic, more passionate. Like that never has to go away. I never understand when people say, with the longer you're with someone, you know, the drier, more boring things get in your love life, in your intimate life. We've had the opposite experience. I experienced the opposite. Okay? So this orgasmic energy, you have this in yourself, and so you experience it in your love life, and no matter how long you're with your beloved, and if you're calling in your beloved, in your sexual sovereignty, you are ravished like a goddess. All right? And so then this energy is also so attractive and magnetic. Yes, orgasmic co-creation. You have orgasmic co-creation, orgasmic manifestation. Life becomes orgasmic. And so you are sovereign in your pleasure, in your passion, in your receivership. Tell me if you're opening to that. I'm opening to my divine pleasure and passion and receptivity. And okay, different energy is, you know, you're guided, so you follow your intuition. You trust your intuition because you trust yourself, and you follow your intuition. So give me a yes. Tell me if I am ready to trust and follow my intuition. Yes, yes, yes. And then from that, you take aligned, inspired action, and then you're able to receive, because you're in the goddess energy then of surrendering to the outcomes. You're in complete trust, knowing that God, goddess are on your side. You've reparented and remothered yourself. You know they love you unconditionally, and they support you, and they want what's best for you, as you would for your own child. And they want so much more than that for you. So you do your part, and you let go and let God, goddess. All right? Let me know if you're opening to that. I know I'm going to follow intuition. Yes. I open to my passion. Yes. And you live and you manifest from desire and pleasure. Your life, you are led by desire. Not need or desperation or insecurity or attachment or pressure or obligation. You live a life led by desire. This is how I live my life. I'm led by my desires. I let pleasure lead the way. I let what feels good lead the way, because what feels good, when I feel good, I feel God. I once had a dream where there was like this blank screen, and I saw the words feel good. And then the O and the good came out, one of the O's. It came out, and then the other words got together, so it turned into God. And that other O zoomed out and encompassed, and it was like, feel God. And that other O just was like the bubble around the feel God. And it was this message God was telling me, feeling good is feeling God, and it's the same. That's so powerful. And this was also like this beautiful, prophetic, intuitive, divine dream that I have very vivid psychic and spiritual dreams all the time, having awakened my feminine gift and my intuition, which you open up. Okay, so the other gift of this is you set sacred standards and you never settle or compromise. So tell me if you're welcoming this. To never settle. Never again. I have my sacred standards and I hold them. And this is so powerful, because this means when you're tested, when that thing that's maybe almost as good, the job, the lover, the house, whatever it is that's like almost as good comes along, are you going to settle, or can you hold? Can you stay rooted and centered in your divine worth and value your standards, and hold the energy of, no, it has to meet me here. This is not welcome in my sphere. Yeah, I love all caps. Never settle again. Yes, yes, yes. Why settle? look at this infinite universe. Eric showed me a picture the other day, one of the new NASA ones, I think, and it was like just a glimpse of the universe and galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies. And it's just like the universe is so infinitely creative and abundant and vast. Why do we limit ourselves? You're part of this, you're one with this. There's no separation between us, right? So you open to the infinite abundance, you become Lakshmi, and then you know God, Goddess love you and they support you. All right. Okay. You also have more energy and vitality, and you're more healthy and vibrant. Sometimes in my work, like, women struggle with things like extra weight or hair falling out or acne or like sweating a lot and these certain physical things that would manifest for them. And then just by doing this goddess work of healing and clearing, coming to self-love and the divine feminine, and while embracing the masculine, it's like, I'm not a health coach. I don't work in any of, those things, but they would just clear up like magic. So this can happen. Your health, your vitality just radiates. So let me know if you're opening to more health and vibrancy and vitality. And you live in the magical rhythms of your body and the moon and the seasons and your moods. So like I said, my life, my business, it revolves around me. Not only will I take a moon day, but I will take a goddess day whenever I please. And I've set up the divine masculine structures are set up in my life. The support systems are there for me to be able to receive that and do that. Such a beautiful union of feminine and masculine. Okay, and so you also, let me know if you're opening to that, like opening to living your life in oneness with your rhythms, your natural cycles. Sometimes it may not have something to do with our cycle, but we're in eclipse season right now, and oh my God, you need a day off, maybe on an eclipse day, right? Some of this energy is very intense, and you deserve to have the freedom to do that. Open to vibrance and vitality, open to more health and vibrance and vitality. Yes, I love these beautiful affirmations. Oh, love it. And again, if you're watching the replay, share them. Wherever you watch this replay, my love, participate like you're with us live. Share, share, share. Because again, we're writing it out. We're affirming this in this beautiful energy, and it's very powerful. And so your radiance shines through you. So like, I'm often asked what I use on my skin, and honestly, like, it doesn't matter, because I know my health, my radiance comes from my connection to God, Goddess, and to all this energy. It's like what you see is this divine, the radiance of Goddess through me, because I've fallen in love with her and I've returned home to her, and she flows and radiates through me, right? And so this is the greatest beauty secret for us women. I've been feeling the vibes. I love it. Yeah, these are such magical vibes, and I'm so happy to share them with you. Oh, okay, so radiance. Are you opening to radiance? Yes, I'm open to radiance shining through me. I love it from inside of you. And like, just feel into how this radiance glows out, and I attract the most magical clients. My beloved thinks I'm the most beautiful creature in the world. Like even my little nieces and nephew, they give me flowers and tell me how beautiful I am, and like, I'm a great aunt, But it's like, when you're in your feminine, your divine radiance, you become Lakshmi and Amaterasu and the like sun radiant goddess, and you're so irresistible. My goddess training sister said, especially by the time they got towards graduation, when we're in our Lakshmi and abundance goddess initiation and the queen sovereignty initiation, they were saying, like, people were calling them queens or regal, or people thought they were 10 or more years younger than their actual age for the first time in their life. One of our goddesses, she was in her 60s. She was a divine, beautiful goddess. She said at the end, like, all these young men were approaching her and finding her so attractive. And, you know, so like, this is what, there's no years. You become ageless. Your inner beauty shines through. Ah, oh, I love that your affirmation is what I just said. Yeah, body's saying, I attract the most magical clients. Ah, Mercury. Sorry, loves. My beloved thinks I'm the most magical creature in the world. Yeah, every woman should feel that way and experience that. Right? Okay, so much more magic. So what else? Your radiance, and yeah, you are so regal and empowered, and people know not to mess with you because you command respect. So when our sister earlier was saying about how she's afraid of, terrified of setting boundaries, it's like, that's why the last initiation in my training is to sit on your throne as a divine queen that you are. And you are in your queendom and you command respect. You don't have to set boundaries with your words. People feel your power, your self-respect, your self-empowerment, your self-value, your self-worth. It radiates. This is more like this solar plexus chakra energy that's radiating out like the sun. They won't even dare because they can feel what you command. So you energetically command respect, being valued and honored, because you take this sovereign stand for your divinity. All right, so are we opening to this? Loving all this. I'm so happy. Yes, such a delightful place to end up. Thank you so much for sending me here, God. I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm regal. Come on, goddesses. Are we ready to be regal sovereign queens? Affirm this, claim this. Give me your yeses. And so you're valued in all your relationships. You are paid the way you deserve to be paid. You are honored. You know, like these roses, if you follow me, Eric literally brings me 24 roses, and whenever I need for like the circle, he'll make sure he will bring me, he says these are separate because he doesn't want me to even mix the flowers for my circles, the ones for me. Like he'll bring me extra roses for me, saying these are for your work and I want you to have your own. Like showered with flowers, literally. And love and support. And you know, like that's very romantic, but honestly, like this divine man and the kind of people and person or partner you attract, or how you elevate the love that you have, it's like, if I could share with you, one day I will. You know, it's still our sacred experience right now, but like how he shows up, how he's shown up on our path to parenthood, our fertility treatments, the side effects I experienced physically, emotionally on the journey, literally like the things he did for me and how he was so in his divine masculine. I wish this for every sister, to have a partner that is such a solid divine source of infinite divine masculine support and unconditional love and strength for you. So say yes if you're manifesting this in the lover you desire or the lover you have. Okay, and it doesn't have to be masculine or male, obviously, like just that infinite divine support and love, and like thick and thin, better for worse, yes, you know, and still romance and love and fun and spontaneity and great sex and all of that. I want all my sisters to receive this level of adoration and being cherished. Okay, so you're so valued and cherished in all your relationships, and you allow yourself to receive it. You allow yourself and expect to be supported. Yes, 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 I'm receiving all of these vibes. Yes, thank you for sharing. Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're resonating. Okay, you allow yourself to be supported, goddesses, when we have union with feminine masculine. All right, you also, from the worthiness and regal sovereignty, you invest in yourself. You're decisive. You decide. You're so clear in what you want, what you deserve, and you know you can receive it. You're worthy of it. So you put literally your money where your mouth is. Like, sometimes a big disconnect is our actions don't reflect our intentions. We intend to create a change, to be in self-love, but then our actions are disconnected. We're not setting boundaries, and one way is that we're not investing in ourselves. One of the great reasons, the greatest contribution to this was I decided and invested in myself, my healing, my transformation, books, courses, programs, time, resources, emotional commitment, devotion. So when you are balanced with this, you invest in yourself and you're all in. You're decisive, you're clear, you're all in. So yes, share if you're ready to be all in. I'm ready to be invested in myself, and I'm ready to invest in myself. You deserve this above all. You need to make yourself your number one priority. When you do, it creates instant shifts. So like when the women, first round and second round, who are joining Awakened Goddess training, have been sharing with me in the calls and emails, literally we get these testimonials, we can't keep up, and we haven't even started the official program yet. That some of them the moment they applied, but when they applied, they had decided that they're investing if they get accepted. They're all in. And some of them, once they paid and they confirmed their spot through the payment after our interview or heart call, miracles started happening. They've already started manifesting money, other things like they're too personal, so I won't share. But they're like, we haven't even started yet, and this huge thing that I was waiting months for just happened. This was one of the things I wanted to manifest in the program, and it's just happened like the day I paid or invested. So whenever we are taking a stand and investing in ourselves, what's happening is you're telling the universe that I'm putting my money, my effort, my time, my resources where my mouth is. There's the alignment, there's the congruence, there's the matching of how you're acting, the divine masculine, the action, with your divine feminine desire. And the desire and the action come into sacred union, and God, Goddess come together, create miracles. So they start. And the universe hears you loud and clear, because they're like, she's not just desiring this, she's invested. She did the thing. She's all in. So share with me if you're ready to prioritize yourself, to be invested in you, to prioritize you, to go all in on you. Say, I go all in on me. Yes, yes, yes. I take a stand and invest in myself. Yes, I love it. I love all the loves. I deserve this in my divine creation, right? Yes, I'm ready to be invested in myself and to invest in myself. I'm my number one priority. Yes, I'm honoring also. I'm ready to invest in my sovereignty. So many. Celebrating you. Celebrating you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, so it's like when you make a bold, badass move, you take that leap of faith and you can do it because, again, you have the trust and the faith, and you're like, I'm ready for this magic. God, Goddess, love me. I'm so supported. I'm sovereign. I can lead with desire. I desire this thing. I'm going to invest in myself. The whole universe feels like a party in your name, in celebration of you. Isn't that fun? I have found this anytime I've taken a big leap. I've made some big investments, especially in the last year, with mentors and programs, and like every time it's just the next level opens up immediately before the thing even starts. Okay, and so then another blessing that unfolds is you treat yourself like the goddess that you are, and you're able to receive, and you expect that everyone else does too. in your personal relationships, in your work, with your money. Your relationship to yourself, it's like the vision the goddesses are giving me is like you're a sun, and then there's all these rays, and these rays shine out to your relationship to everything else. Okay? Everyone else, every situation. And this light goes out and it returns to you as light. It can only return to you at that frequency of that ray of light. This is so lovely to remember the universe is having a party, a big party for me. So I'm ready for the big party. I treat myself like goddess I am. Yeah, so tell me if you're ready. Treat yourself like the goddess you are. And to be treated like the goddess you are. And then, you know what, my loves, is like a rhythm to your life. Your Shakti is ignited. So you co-create with Shakti. So let me know, I'm ready to unleash my divine feminine Shakti. And Shakti is so powerful. Shakti is the fire of goddess Pele, and the wrath fire of Sekhmet, and the cutting of the cords of goddess Kali. And Shakti is Gaia and Lakshmi and Aphrodite and Mary and Lilith. Like your Shakti, just like goddess of 10,000 names, it's your full feminine power is unleashed. So let me know if I'm ready to unleash my full Shakti. I didn't know it can only return at that same frequency. Thank you. I'm so happy. See, there's a shift right there. Yep, you're the sun. You radiate the rays and it comes back at that frequency. So if we're not happy with something on the outside, then we come back to the source. Right? This is my work with women, is like, I'm not doing something for you, I'm empowering you to return, giving the tools, the guidance, the divine feminine magic to be the source. You have the power. And then we just have more fun, right? Because I said the over masculine is too much structure, monotony, and routine. So your life, there's room for spontaneity, for fun. So many times Eric and I, when the world was open, and hopefully it's opening up again, but the trips we've taken, and again, just having the ability and the freedom, like in the corporate world, I could barely take 2 weeks vacation. I remember, here's a little story for you. So it was my Mendi, which is the henna celebration day. And my boss knew. It was like the Friday before my wedding, and I booked this day off the year in advance because we knew my wedding, our wedding, a year in advance, right? And I booked 2 weeks off. We went to Greece for a honeymoon, and I remember, like a year later, after being approved and everything to take this vacation time, we got 3 weeks actually, and I took that 2 week then. She like yelled at me, had a freak out, and then at the end just said, I'm not happy. First she was mad that I left work at 4:30 p.m. instead of 5 or whatever it was for my Mendi, my henna ceremony, which I also booked in advance. And then she said, I'm not happy that you're taking time off for honeymoon. And I was just like, I'm getting married. I booked this a year in advance. And thank God, thank goddess for the blessing of making that so shitty that I was able to then be like, I'm not meant to have a boss. I'm going to be my own boss and take time off whenever I want. And so then to be able to have this life, it's like giving the finger to all that shit, all those patterns in our life. When you reclaim your freedom to create your life on your own terms. And then so the masculine here is like spontaneity, like just going for it. And so many of the trips we've taken have been so last minute. You know, just like deciding, oh, let's go there, where you might just see an ad or something. It's like, oh, let's go there. And it's like that kind of spontaneity that comes in. And of course, you have the abundance to do these things, to invest in yourself. Or maybe not even or, we put your money where your mouth is. It's just like, I value, I prioritize a life that is rich and full of adventure and fun, and so that's where my money is going to go. So like, you know, we don't really buy things, we love travel, and then we also invest. So That's so fun when you come into that, and just let me know if you are inviting and claiming more fun, spontaneity, more adventure in your life. Is that something you desire? Okay, and then more and more what happens, it's less effort and more fun. Less doing, more pleasure, more play, more rest. And then this just leads to more blessings, more love, more abundance, more joy, more opportunities, more energy, more health. So just tell me I'm ready for more, more, more. Let me make sure you can hear that, because it pauses to say, I am ready for more, more, more. More of all the good stuff. I love all your affirmations. Yes, loving this. So happy your journey's led to yours. Thank you, my love. This is why I teach you how to do this as well. Love it. And so my loves, with all this, you become God, Goddess expressed. Creating heaven on earth. I love it. More, more, more. Ready for more, more, more. All the good stuff. Ready for more, more, more. Amen. Yes. Are you ready to just fully let God, Goddess express themselves through you and create heaven on earth? God, Goddess made you to go forth, to be on this holy planet, this beautiful earth, and be their expression, to be their expansion. You know, like all the desires in your heart are from God, Goddess. They are God, Goddess's own desires for their own expression and expansion. So of course they're meant to be met and realized. I have a couple of sisters who've joined the program right now who are like in a space of I'm joining because I'm almost like, I don't know if this thing is meant for me. It's going to happen. And again, I'm like, not on my watch. Your lover, this thing that you want, it's happening. For me, it's already happened. And the goddesses, the way my application process work, and I do a ritual, and the gods just show me what's in store, like what's available and open to the divine woman who joins. And I always see everything happening. If you're called, like when you come to this level of work with me to invest in yourself, it's already happening. And so the goddesses show me it's all happening. And it happened for sisters in round one, and it's happening already as far as I'm concerned. It's already happened. And then we're just going to go on the journey for you to receive it. But God, Goddess put every desire in your heart for them to experience its manifestation, its expression. Okay. Oh, I love all the affirmations. And this is the gift of uniting God, Goddess within you, beloved. And like someone said earlier, this can sound too good to be true. And depending on where we are on our path, it can take time. Like I said, it took me 27 years to come. And I now just continue to be in deeper embodiment and radiance of this. You know, like I said, we had one goddess in my program who was in her 60s, and she experienced so much childhood trauma, and she was like giving, and by the time we were done in our program, she was sovereign in her power, magnetizing so many blessings, including young men who were like chasing after her. She was glowing, radiant. She was so sensual and sexual and creative. She started sewing her own goddess gowns to show up for our goddess calls. And she was the designer, and she said, I'm going to do this again. And we ended the training with her ready to create a retreat, like a divine retreat for families. Like, right? I just don't want you to wait this long as well, right? Like, I want us to commit to this work, to do it now. Because you deserve it. So my love, I hope this has supported you, this magic, these vibes. I love that you're joining me in this. And This is such a magical moment right now, if you are catching this while we are live or releasing in the next few days, because the temple doors are just open for this little moment in time where I offer the Awakened Goddess training once a year. And then they're going to close. And if you wish to go so much deeper, I would love to receive you. If you're ready to take that stand and invest in yourself, the 6-month journey, it's so divinely designed, like really specifically. First 90 days, takes 90 days to create a shift, like a deep, deep, deep shift. There's spiritual, energetic reasons behind that I won't get into, but there's the 90 days of the clearing and the healing of all the blocks, and then the next 90 is like the radiance of it all. Right? If you felt this was magical, I can't even tell you what happens in that vortex. It's so powerful that round one sister said sometimes they couldn't catch up with an initiation, and the magic happened in their life. And they said when they came to the call, they're like, okay, everything you guys are sharing that you experienced, I experienced, but I didn't yet watch or do the meditation. You know, it's so powerful. This is my most powerful offering. I wish I had something like this. I wish it for every divine woman ready for a deep journey of initiation. And it's quantum leaping into the full spectrum goddess you are, to not only heal all you desire to, but to manifest what you desire from your divine feminine, embracing and lovingly adored and cherished and supported and empowered by the divine masculine, both within you and from God and the universe and the masculine in the world and in your life. Oh, I can't wait to enroll in your goddess training. So, okay, let's do this orgasmic fun thing. If you are ready to go deep, give me a yes, yes, yes. I'm ready for my next level. This is for the woman ready for the next level. And not just the next level, but quantum leap. You'll read some, the goddess is saying there that this journey ended cycles and collapsed times, and they manifest miracles now, almost like it's instant manifestation. Okay. So if you would like details, all the beautiful details, the divine page is so beautiful. Every picture is so goddessy. They're from sacred sites I've had the blessing of visiting, so you receive like this transmission. It's just a tiny glimpse to the magic. It's flourishinggoddess.com/awaken-goddess-training. We'll try to leave a link for you. If you're with me on Instagram, the link is in the bio. And there's like literally now is the time to join. We just have a few sister spots left. Yes, 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 I'm ready to quantum leap. I'm ready to level up. I love it. I love the commitment. And my love, we go so much deeper. Right? Not only in healing all this, but you open, like you've seen my life, all the different ways it's changed. And I desire this for all of you. So if you desire that and so much more for you in your own way, the love, the abundance, the awakening all your divine feminine gifts, your sacred sensuality and your grace, your compassion, but also your power, your liberation, your inner warrioress, your receptivity, your magnetism, your flow. Our goddesses in there, like they started revolving their business based on the womb moon magic initiation. And Leanne said she made more money doing less and following the rhythm. She's like, I just never knew that I could take a goddess day. And she did. And she also manifested the support, like with an assistant to give her that time. She manifested the support she needs to make room in her life because her business took so much of her life to receive and attract and magnetize her beloved king. Right? We awaken all your divine feminine gifts so that every part of your life flourishes at its fullest. You know, your inner medicine woman, your enchantress, your queen, your loveress, your triple goddess, your wild woman, your muse. Olivia, our actress goddess, says like the muse is so alive for her. you know, and just manifesting from the feminine, prospering, flourishing in every way, loving your body, temple up, leveling all your relationships. It's pure, pure, pure magic. Just a few spots are left. And this is the year. I would love to support you. Let's do this if you want to join me there. And if that's not your time right now, you know, I always have my beautiful book, Goddess Reclaimed, that I wish for every woman. If you get it, I'd so love for you to gift it to your lovely ladies. So many women tell me they gift it to all their girlfriends. It's just, that's like the doorknob to the temple, and then the Awakened Goddess training is like living in the temple itself, in every chamber, in every gateway, going through initiations with me, with support, with your sisters. It's just so magical. I've been part of programs where I have paid a lot more. I've invested a lot more for programs that were literally 2 weeks to a month with no coaching or support element, right? This is like the best of so many worlds. You get this mastermind type energy of like our calls, and it's intimate, and we do magic, and you get support, and you get your self-paced, like the divine initiations, and you get that sacred accountability and journeying together. Like, it's pure magic in every way, and you get to do it all with the goddesses and with God. So, oh, your book is my Bible. Oh, thank you, beloved. Oh, okay, my loves. And when you're watching this, if you're on YouTube, you know, there's always free stuff. There's free videos on YouTube. There's, if you join me in flourishinggoddess.com, sign up to my newsletter. I give you some extra beautiful gifts. But for the woman who desires it all for herself, who is ready to invest in herself, who's ready to go and collapse time and do this and have the most magical, flourishing, beautiful life, flee from your divine feminine to be in the magic of it all. That is the woman ready for the Awakened Goddess training. And I invite you. And everyone else, I love you. All of you, I love you. So let me know how this served you in the comments. It's been such a joy to be in this magical energy with you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy, your answers. We co-created such magic here. Oh. And let's just close by placing our hands on our heart and our wombs. Thanking ourselves for investing this time in ourselves to clear some things, some imbalances, to acknowledge them, to give them to God, Goddess for releasing, to remember our magic and power and what happens when we unite with the Goddess, with our divine feminine power, and we unite that with the divine masculine within, and we open to this magic continuing to unfold for our highest good, welcoming miracles in every way, on all levels. So be it, and so it is. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, beloveds. I love you so much. You are so powerful. You are so magical. You are so divine. You are so loved. You are goddesses. Always remember that. Okay? Mwah!